Let's talk a little bit of a warm-up. Definitions of an angle, a representation of a turn or a rotation, the intersection of two rays at a common vertex, the space between two rays, and remember, you should be able to think about these different interpretations and what are their benefits and what are their drawbacks. Try to do this. Name these geometric figures. So the first one is an example. It's done for you. You could call it line TS or line ST, or you could use the symbols with a line over the top of the two capital letters with arrows at both ends. And remember, with a line, order doesn't matter. So try these next few and then check your answers. How'd you do? Did you get line segment CD or DC? Again, order doesn't matter on line segments, and this time the symbol is just a line with no arrows on the ends. Number 2, ray XY or XY with a line over the top, but the arrow is only pointing on one end, and it has to start with X and end with Y. It cannot be ray YX. Because order does matter in a ray. We always start with the end point because it only continues in one direction. Similarly with number 3, ray QR, and then 4, point L, and then 5, line segment NO or ON, either way. How about these? Do you remember these? Straight angles, supplementary angles, complementary angles, or vertical angles? Think about each one of those definitions. Now let's review those. So a straight angle is an angle measuring 180 degrees. A supplementary angle, two angles that are not necessarily adjacent, are supplementary if the sum of their measures is 180 degrees. Complementary angles are two angles, they don't have to be adjacent, are complementary if their sum of their angles measured is 90 degrees. And then vertical angles or opposite angles. Two opposing angles formed by two intersecting lines, these angles are always congruent, meaning they have the same measure. Alright, so there's some definitions. Now let's take a look at some pictures and try to make a match. So, can you tell which figure is a straight angle? Which figure is a supplementary angle? Which one is a complementary angle? And which ones are vertical or opposite angles? Did you get them right? The straight angle is C. The supplementary angles are A in figure A, so this angle and this angle sum together to 180 degrees. Whereas the complementary angles, these two angles, angles A and B in this case, sum to 90 degrees. And then D, vertical angles are the ones that are across from each other. So in this case, C and A are vertical angles, and B and D are vertical angles. And so A and C would have the same measure, and B and D would have the same measure.